Hi, this is Lee Thurburn, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate exactly how to upload bank statements that you export from your bank and process them, and how to do that in an incredibly efficient manner. So when you land after logging in on your host dashboard, go over to the left side menu, click Accounting, come down to Bank Transactions, and this is the page you're going to do all of the necessary work from. Now, there's several different links and pages attached to this, one of which is your upload history. In the upper right-hand side, there's 3 buttons. There's a Manage Mappings and a Manage Rules. Your upload history is literally a history of all the bank transaction files, or the bank CSV files that you've uploaded to get the banking data into the system. There's none in there at the moment. We'll look at that later. Manage Mappings is every bank account that you have, and you can have as many as you need to. Every bank account that you're using in your business has its own unique mapping. And so this is where you manage those mappings, where the data in the bank file is matched to the data in the system. And then Manage Rules. So I'm going to show you Manage Rules. These are rules that are set up during the process of assigning transactions that speed up your future work. So, for example, there's a rule here for Turo. So when Turo makes a deposit into your bank, the transaction that the bank records is going to have a string of data, including this at the beginning. And so, and you'll see in just a moment how you can actually automatically make a transaction that you record a rule. But anyway, here's a rule set up for Turo, here's a rule set up for Racetrack, here's a rule set up for Discount Tires, another rule for Take 5 Oil Change. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just delete these rules so that you can see. I'll go ahead and click the delete. So you can see what the process looks like of getting those rules reset up. So at this point in time, it looks like we have a total of 49 rules in the rules bank rules table. Now, what I'm going to do is I just want you to remember that. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to Bank Transactions. Click on Back to Bank Transactions in the upper right-hand corner. And now I'm going to go ahead and upload. Now, when I upload, all of the transactions are going to go into the pending folder. So since I only have one bank account, it's automatically loading that bank, and the map has already been chosen. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump down to selecting a file, and I'm going to load the January 2025 bank transactions file. I'll go ahead and click the Upload and Process button, and you'll see a progress pop up, or we call them modals, a progress modal come up that'll tell you exactly what's happening. And here in just another few seconds, it'll finish the process of unpacking the data from the bank CSV file. And now it shows 174 new transactions and 3 duplicates that are flagged. So that's going to give us a great example to be able to look at. So here in the workspace now, you see that pending shows 174, and over here we see skipped shows 3. So let's start with a skipped. Now, because I'm familiar with the data, I know that all of these transactions are in fact legitimate. They're not mistaken duplicates. They're legitimate transactions. Basically, Dino Clean Car Wash is $10, and on a particular day in January, I cleaned 4 different cars. And so I had 4 different charges, 3 of which look like they're duplicates. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all, and then I'm going to click the Force Import button. That's going to move these 3 transactions out of the skipped duplicates sort of warning area, the tab area, and put them in with the pending, which was 174. Now it's 177. So now I'm ready to process or apply the bank rules. And so the value of the bank rules is literally that with one click of a button, the system will go through the process of checking all of the pending transactions against previously set up bank rules, and it will automatically apply or assign transaction locations. So in other words, if a transaction goes to an oil change, it'll automatically assign it to an oil change based upon what the bank rule says for that particular description, which is who you're paying. So as you can see now, it's processing batches. The batches are batches of 15 transactions at a time. It's going through the process of finding matches between the bank transaction file that's just uploaded and then the bank rules that have previously been configured. And when it finds a match, it applies whatever that rule is to the bank transaction. This dramatically speeds up your monthly bank or monthly accounting process because in most small businesses, most Turo businesses, there are a lot of common expenses. You're going to use a lot of times the same oil change people or the same brake people, the same, auto repair people. So, while it may not be for the same car every time, it will be the same type of expense. And I'll show you here in a moment how you go. Actually, I'll show you in a different video. This video is not going to dig down into how you go back and allocate. But so it found 88 transactions that were automatically assigned. And so I'm going to close this, and you're going to see that the assigned has 88 and the pending has 89. So now we're going to go through the process of looking individually at some of these pending. The first I'm going to look at is a Turo deposit. So here's a Turo deposit, and you'll see that there's a unique number here at the end. You'll notice that that's the unique number, and then all of this stuff is the same on every Turo deposit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Assign to one of the Turo deposits, and I'm going to go ahead and just build a bank rule for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Assign to Account, and we're going to always put Turo deposits into account number 4100. Think of that as a holding account for Turo deposits. When Turo deposits money into your bank account, you don't know which vehicle that relates to. Now you might know because you're really tracking it close, but if you have a half dozen or more vehicles, it gets real confusing. So what we do is we just put the Turo deposits into a holding account, and later when we run our Turo earnings report assignment, we take it out of the holding account and we give it to the specific vehicle, but that's for another video. So anyway, I've assigned it to an account, and then over here you'll see that there it says create bank rule from this assignment, and so that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to worry about assigning to a vendor, and I'm just going to type Turo deposit as my memo. I'll go ahead and click assign one transaction. Now we're going to go back up. Actually, okay. So here we go. Now we're going to go back up to Manage Rules, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to find Turo. There we go. There's our Turo rule, and we're going to edit it, and we're going to make this rule starts with instead of contains. And we're going to get rid of all of this stuff because that's not really necessary. So any transaction that starts with that is going to be assigned to account 4100 memoed as Turo deposit. So I'm going to go ahead and update the rule. Now I'm going to go back to bank transactions, and we still have the 88 in pending. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the bank rule, and this now has a new rule added for Turo deposits. I'm going to apply the bank rules, and it's going to go through and it's going to basically match the bank rule with all of these remaining bank transactions that have not yet been assigned. And let's give it a moment to do what it needs to do, but I think it's going to find about 24 maybe matches. So it's going to actually reduce the number of pending by 24 that transactions that it will assign to the assigned section. So there we go, 24 transactions. I'm going to close, and you'll see now we're down to 64. So I'm going to do the same thing with Racetrack. So if I go ahead and click Assign, now because Racetrack doesn't do anything different in their notations, we're able to find similar transactions based on a pattern match. So as you can see, these are all Racetrack number 2371. So I'm going to go ahead and check the box for all of these. So now when I assign the details for this transaction to the account, I'm going to type the word fuel. I could type either an account number or I could type part of the description, and it'll find the appropriate expense. I'm going to assign it to that expense. I'm just going to make the memo fuel. And now I'm going to go ahead and click assign. And there's a total of 9 transactions, the one that we as our primary and 8 similar transactions. Now, I'm going to show you the difference between basically a pattern match and starts with. So I'm going to go back to manage rules. I'm going to type racetrack. And this is the one that we just assigned. So I'm going to go in and edit that. And now what I'm going to do, I know that there are no other businesses that I do business with that start with the word racetrack. So I'm going to change from matches to start with, and just starts with racetrack. And I'm going to go ahead and change that rule, simplifying the rule. And now I'm going to go back again to bank transactions, and I'm going to go ahead and apply to this last 55, apply the bank rules. So yet again, it's going to go through and sweep through the list of pending transactions and look for transactions that match the bank rules that are there. And of course, I just changed the racetrack to make it simple so that it doesn't look for a unique racetrack, but any racetrack. And there you go. It found 11 additional transactions. So now we're down to 44 that are pending. And I can do that with other things like Take 5. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click assign for Take 5. And now you're going to see it found 4 matching plus the 1. So I'm going to come up here to oil change, vehicle oil changes, since I don't know which vehicle that relates to. I'm going to assign, I'm going to check the box to assign all of them, assign 5 transactions, and this is going to make a bank rule out of this, this transaction that we're saving. And so now we're down to just 39 pending assignment. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to show you another process where you can bulk assign. So like many small businesses, I actually run quite a few personal expenses through, but I need to make sure I don't treat them as personal, that I don't write them off. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to check the boxes next to anything that is a personal expense. So Chick-fil-A, Mesa, Aldi's, grocery store, Kroger, grocery store. So on this page, there's 9. I'm going to go to the next page, and we have McDonald's. There's going to be way too many McDonald's. I'm embarrassed to say I eat McDonald's. I really like their Egg McMuffin with cheese. Okay, so we're going to go to McDonald's. We're going to go down to here. There's another McDonald's Krispy Kreme, kind of showing my sweet tooth off here. And McDonald's personal expenditure, Prestonwood Dry Cleaners. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page. Restaurant, a grocery store, a restaurant, a restaurant, a grocery store, and another McDonald's. Okay, so that is all of the transactions. And you look here, there shows 30 transactions out of 39. So I'm going to go ahead and click assign, and this is our bulk assigned transactions. Now, what I do is I record these personal expenses to an equity account because it's equivalent to a distribution from the company to me. So I'm going to just bulk assign all of those individually but collectively to the an equity account as a distribution. Go ahead and click assign selected transactions, and it's going to bulk assign those 30 transactions. And in just a second, the process will be completed, and then we'll be down to just 9 remaining transactions. And here we go. Now it's done, and we have 9 transactions. Now, notice it's got an all clear here. If I just click on assigned and then click back on pending, the pendings show up. Okay, so now I'm going to take a couple of transactions. These 2 are specifically payments on an account or on a card. So I'm going to type Alley for the credit card, and these are payment on account. And so I'm going to record those as bulk transactions. And now I have 7 left, and as it turns out, all 7 of these are in fact also a bulk transaction. These are, I'm going to record them as interest on vehicles. These are monthly payments on vehicles, And so I'm not going to worry currently about assigning them to specific vehicles. I'm just going to do a bulk assignment to interest on vehicles. Make it a monthly loan payment. Correct my spelling on monthly. Go ahead and assign those. And now, once again, when it finishes, we will have assigned all of the transactions out of pending. So pending is 0. Next, I'm going to move over to assigned, and we're moving a batch of transactions through a process that's going to end up with them being archived. Now that we're in the assigned and all of the transactions are ready to be processed, I'm going to click Create Journal Entries and archive the batch. So we just go ahead and answer the question, yes, we're sure, and this will take a moment to run because it's doing a lot in the background. Basically, 177 individual transactions are being processed in batches of 15. And so it processes a batch of 15. It creates the transactions that it posts into the accounting system in the transaction ledger. Then it comes back and gets the next batch and does the same thing. We do this because we don't want to overwhelm the server with too many transactions at one time, because that can actually cause the server to choke. And so we just parse them out and run them through, and it also gives us the ability to actually see that the process is working the way it should. Now, sometimes the system will reach a point where it has to pause for a moment, and when it does, there will be a button that says continue that you can click, and that should continue the process and finish off the batch of 177 transactions. So let's just watch and wait for it to complete. Okay, so here it found a choke point. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and click to continue, and it's going to finish the process and finish creating the entries. You can think of that as an intermission, or the system taking a breather. And here it'll go ahead and continue. And now it has completed, and we can go ahead and close this. And we'll see that all of the transactions have been moved to archived. So there's 177 archived transactions. Now if I come up and click on Upload History, you'll see that this particular upload was for 2025 January 1 through 31. So this is the history. And now if I go over onto the left side to accounting and to the transaction ledger, we're going to see 177 transactions have been created. And that may take just a second to load. And here it is, 177 transactions. So we have now completely processed the month of January, and you can tell that didn't take too terribly long. Now, the reason it didn't take very long is because I previously had gone through the process of creating a lot of bank rules. And so if I check the box here and I look at the count 52, there were 52 bank rules that I created. Many of those bank rules are for individual, just like this account comes up, like a legal service or an insurance payment or something like that. So there's basically a lot of rules. You can have as many as you want, and that is what's going to really speed things up for you. So every month, your first month that you go through the bank transaction process will take you a little time. But after your first time through, it'll go really quick. So presume you've gone through it once now. Let's go back and do the next month. So I'm going to go ahead and go to bank transactions, and this will go much faster. So I'm now going to go ahead and choose the file, which is February. Now I happen to have February in the first half, second half, so we're going to choose the first half of February, upload, and process it. Okay, so now it's processed, and we'll see 84 transactions for the first half of February. So I just go ahead and click Apply Bank Rules. 55 of those 84 transactions were pretty much automatically processed. And now I can go through and I can, again, whittle this down pretty quick. I'll go through and get all of the personal expenses, just identify those. Those are a quick, easy way to get those, kind of whittle away at the large list of things. So Family Health Market, Aldi's, Wild Fork, Venmo, Slim Chickens, Kroger, McDonald's. You see way too many McDonald's. I'm probably a good advertisement for McDonald's. DSW Shoes, HEB, a sandwich shop, another Kroger. And so I'm going to go ahead and go, oh, that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and come up here and I'm going to click Assign Selected. And these are going to be to the equity account where I basically record these as personal expenses. Now we just have 12 transactions left. Go ahead and click over to pending. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. This is 7-Eleven. So I'm going to do fuel. So 7-Eleven is fuel. This is fuel. QT is fuel. Then I'm going to come over here to the next page. QT is fuel. So I'll assign these transactions to fuel. Now I'm down to one page of transactions, and this is going to get to be pretty much one at a time type thing. So I'm going to assign all-in-one WP migration. Now that's an annual expense. I'm going to go ahead and make a rule out of it, but this is software, so I'll assign that to software, and then I will come back, or the system will bring me back here, and we'll do another single transaction. We have Hobby Lobby, and I'll go ahead and do Hobby Lobby. That's a miscellaneous expense, and I put it under vehicles miscellaneous. It's something that we got for a vehicle. I can't remember what it is, but I do remember that we did that. And then now we're down to 6 transactions. We have a payment to basically on a credit card. So I'm going to put this to the Alley credit card and make that assignment. Now I just did something, I just realized something. I left that checked, so I want to uncheck that because I don't want all Alley payments. So I'm going to go, there's my Alley payment. This is to credit card. I want to make sure that payments to Alley don't get miscategorized. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that rule. The transaction still applies, but I just removed the rule from my rules list. Okay, now here's a deposit. This is a loan from a member. So I'm going to type member, and so we'll do loans from members. And now we're down to 4 transactions. Each one of these are a monthly loan payment. So I'm going to go ahead and make all of them to interest and monthly loan payment. All right, so now we have all of our transactions in pending. And now they're in assigned. Oh, looky here, we had a skipped. I didn't notice. Dino Clean Car Wash. So we're going to go ahead and force the import on that. Now it's going to move it to pending. So I'm going to go ahead to pending, and I'm going to just assign this to Dino, or to Car Wash. Okay, which is where it belongs. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on Assigned, create all the journal entries. Okay, now we're done with archiving, and you'll see that our archive now is 262. If we go ahead and look at our transaction ledger, we're going to see a total of 262 transactions. It'll take a moment to load. 262 transactions. And if we go back and look at our bank transactions page and we look at the upload history, now you'll see that we have 2 different uploads. And so that is exactly the process that I go through on a monthly basis to use the system to handle the bank transactions part of the accounting process. Now, I did not go through, and this will be a separate video because these things get quite long, so I'm just going to make it a separate video. But you still have some assignments that you need to do. There are expenses that need to be specifically allocated to specific vehicles. And basically, that's not typically what you do during the import bank transaction process. There's also distributions of insurance. Insurance payments need to be allocated to individual vehicles. There's a number of individual vehicle allocations that need to be done. I will show you how we do that in a separate video. But we've just processed January and the first half of February of this year, and it doesn't really take very long. The main thing is the first time you go through each month, make sure that you set up as many different bank rules as you feel like you have time to do, because it takes a little bit of time. But once you've done that, it dramatically speeds up the processing in the future. Okay, so we're done now. I will post another video later. Thank you for watching.